right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this joint meeting this Thursday, June the 13th, 2024. If everyone would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh, true. Yeah, it's true.
As we go through each day.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. We will start with introductions. We'll start on my left. We will start with the City of Stuart. We'll just go around the room.
Lee Baggett, City Attorney.
Christopher Collins, City of Stuart.
Eula Clark, Commissioner.
Campbell Rich, Vice Mayor, City of Stuart.
Becky Bruner, Mayor, City of Stuart.
Troy McDonald, Commissioner.
Mike Mortel, City Manager.
Karen Krista, Village Manager.
Susan Gibbs Thomas, Mayor, Village of Indiantown.
Carmine DeFano, Village Council.
Chloe Berryman, Assistant Village Attorney, Village of Indiantown.
Marcia Powers, Martin County School Board.
Krisha Lee Roberts, Martin County School Board.
Amy Pritchett, Martin County School Board.
Jen Russell, Martin County School Board.
Michael DiTerlizzi, Martin County School Board.
Michael Main, Superintendent of Schools.
Don Donaldson, County Administrator.
Good morning, Stacy Hetherington, Martin County Commission.
Harold Jenkins, Chair, Martin County Commission.
Ed Campy, Martin County Commission.
Sarah Hurd, County Commission.
Sarah Woods, County Attorney.
Thank you. We'll start on the opposite side. The Chair of the Martin County Board of County Commissioners, Commissioner Jenkins, would you care to have any opening remarks? You got anything to say?
Nothing prepared. We're a little busy
Okay.
down in our district standing up trees, but I don't have anything prepared nor thought about it.
Okay, thank you, and I understand that. I was in that neck of the woods yesterday and kind of got trapped out there, so it was, you guys are doing awesome work cleaning that up. Going on to Jennifer Russell, the Chair of the Martin County School Board. Anything to say this morning? Welcome.
No, I don't have anything for this morning.
Okay. And we will go to Rebecca Bruner, Mayor of the City of Stuart.
No remarks.
Okay. Talkative bunch, we're moving right along. Okay, public comments. Do we have any public comments this morning? Oh, seeing none. We are moving right along at lightning pace. Okay, we are on to our agenda items, which would be A, the capital improvement projects, Martin County BOCC. Keith Baker.
Hello, Keith Baker, Capital Projects Administrator. Just getting the slides pulled up. Good morning, everyone. We'll start with our neighborhood restoration program. This is done in 2 phases in coordination with our utility department. We do a drainage phase and then a resurfacing phase. Right now, we have Coral Gardens. It says 90% complete. Since this presentation was made, it's actually been completed. Cove Ridge Phase 1 and Phase 2 are complete. Port Salerno Peninsula, we have construction scheduled for winter of '24. As part of that project, there'll be a realignment of the intersection of Southeast Seaward and Dixie Highway. It'll provide better geometry for the intersection overall with less deflection angle. Rocky Point is scheduled for construction in 2025. It'd be the beginning of 2025, it should say. Port Salerno, New Monrovia, we have construction fall 2024. And Old Palm City North, we're getting into the design right now. And as part of that project, there'll be a resiliency component to mitigate against the future risks of sea level rise. Moving into the resurfacing part of the neighborhood restoration program, Golden Gate is approximately 40% complete. Leilani Heights is scheduled for this fall, and then Hobe Hills will be right after that, scheduled for the winter of this year. Moving into roadway and sidewalk construction, we have Cove Road, similar to the other one where this has been completed since the presentation was made. Indian Street resurfacing is just getting underway. We're doing some widening there and adding an additional left turn lane. County Road 714 resurfacing is also complete. It was recently completed, I believe, last week. Jensen Beach Boulevard resurfacing, the construction is scheduled for very beginning of July, and we only gave 100 calendar days for the construction of this project to be completed prior to season starting. Waterside Way is underway. That's the roadway to the future county operation complex. And the scope of this project also includes additional left and right turn lanes on Canner Highway. Salerno Road sidewalk is complete. Southeast Avalon Drive sidewalk, we had a public involvement meeting last night. That went very well. Fox Brown Road is in design. The design is basically done. And Monterey Road, Dixie Highway multimodal pathway is also at 90% complete for the design. And I'd just like to point out on this slide, every project on this slide is, the majority of it is grant funded, with the exception of Waterside Way, which is county funded.
Mr. Baker, where is that county complex Waterside Way, please?
Let me check.
Quarter mile south.
You want to describe where it is?
It's about a quarter mile south of 96th Street or Pratt Whitney Road off of Canner Highway.
Oh.
Thanks, Luke.
How big?
All right, you can go to the next one. And then moving on to the bridge projects that we have right now. The Dixie Highway East Fork Creek Bridge, there was some delay with the contractor obtaining his dewatering permit, but he has that in hand now and he's proceeding forward. County Line Road Bridge is wrapping up the design. Its construction is scheduled for the winter of '24. This will be a full closure of County Line Road, and the detour will be via Southeast Country Club Drive. And this is another project that is almost 100% grant funded. Last one on our list today is the Hobe Sound Basquiat Bridge scour protection, which we're just getting into the design of that. And that's all I have.
And then Luke Lambert, Traffic Engineering Administrator for the board. Keith touched on our Indian Street project. So the Willoughby Boulevard will be adding the dual left turn lanes onto Willoughby there. Salerno Road at Canner Highway, this is another intersection improvement project. Utility coordination is the holdup with this one. Constitution Boulevard at Federal Highway, our signal, we have our completed construction agreement with FDOT, and we're coordinating with MacArthur Golf Course for roadway construction. For the graphic that you see in the bottom right is the High Meadow Avenue Sunset Trail roundabout. So we're anticipating construction will begin in the winter of 2024. And last but not least is Dixie Highway at Crossrip. We have a new signalization project, and we're initiating final design on that project. And then in the summertime, that's when we generally go out and do our school zone audits. So you might see our staff, and we hope to get with school district staff to identify anything that needs to be cleaned up in the roadways.
Excuse me, Mr. Lambert, is that winter of 2024 or 2025?
Winter of this year, 2024.
So we've started, that's what you're saying?
We haven't bid the project yet, but we're anticipating to start construction this year.
That's the winter of 24.
We're in '24.
Oh, we're past the
We're
winter.
the spring of '24.
Yeah, we're past the winter. Okay.
Good morning. My name's John Mayle. I'm the Environmental Resource Division Administrator for Martin County, and brevity seems to be the theme of the day, so I am not going to address every one of these bullet points, but I'll touch on the ones that have had physical changes since your last meeting or will change, hopefully, before your next meeting. First of all, we just finished kind of a really cool project that no one knows about, really. It's out at Hawks Hammock Preserve. It's a 400-acre preserve west of Interstate 95. And if you need some therapy or you want to skip your next session, head out on Martin Highway, take a left on Green Farms Lane, go to the end of that road, and there's a new parking area, shelter, and trailhead. and you won't need therapy that particular week. It's a really cool experience. You might give it a week to dry out. Yesterday, put a little bit of water on it. The next project I want to highlight is East Fork Creek Phase 2. We just finished kind of a high-profile project by Heritage Ridge on US 1, east of US 1, that many of you have probably driven by and noticed. That was Phase 1 of East Fork Creek. Phase 2 is out for bid. When we get those bids back, next month we'll be evaluating how they work with our budget and hopefully be able to move forward on that project. That won't be as noticeable. It's a linear project that goes straight east from US 1 on the south side of Mariner Sands. Stewart Beach Addition is a new parking area you may have noticed if you visit Stewart Beach. It was an FCT obligation from a grant we received for that property years ago. That's completed. There's some additional parking level of service and a new dune crossover on the north end of Stewart Beach. So it's already being used. It's been filling up. So it apparently was needed. The IRL restoration seagrass planting project, this is really exciting. It's happening as we speak. The rain this week has kind of interrupted up that project a little bit. We've done 6 acres in the last month of seagrass planting out in the lagoon, in the flats area north of Sailfish Point, and up to and including the area adjacent to Jensen Beach Impoundment. There's 4 additional acres that we hope to get planted in the next couple of weeks. Our philosophy on that, though, we haven't addressed all of our water quality problems, we believe we have started the solutions to those problems enough that it's time to start learning what we don't know about how to successfully restore seagrass. So our intention with these projects is to try to learn as much as possible, see what works, see what doesn't work. And so there's a whole corpus of different experiments that are taking place with these plantings and lots of monitoring. Next slide. Then there's a kind of a little known beach access called Bathtub Beach that we've recently completed a project at, and it looks great. You can no longer see the wall that was put in to hold the parking lot and road, and that it all seems to be working very well. And it has been open, fortunately, and will be closing on Sunday night again, unfortunately. That's to provide parking and detour routing for the MacArthur Boulevard project that Keith just spoke about. We hope to have that all done and open by this fall and have a highly functioning beach again. It is worth noting that you can use the beach, you just can't park there. So if you want to park at Chastain and walk south along the beach, it's open and been busy. We're going to start our inlet dredging project next month, hopefully the first week of July. You may have noticed there's some significant shoaling happening in the inlet, and it's time. That project will remove up to 400,000 cubic yards and enhance the navigation in there. And then the last thing I'll mention is Twin Rivers Shoreline Stabilization Project. Bids have come in. We will award construction for that probably first week of July and hopefully get that project underway. And I think that's all for Public Works.
I just have a comment. I just want to thank the county for the work done at the Delaplane Peninsula ingress. I know it was a very sticky subject for the residents, and especially the ones that closed the entrance. And thank you very much. They're very, very happy down there in that area. So you guys did a great job.
Ms. Pritchett?
Can you go into a little bit of explanation about the Twin Rivers Stabilization Project, if you can?
Yeah, just briefly, because that's probably, if I got further than that, I would get out of my expertise. So it's a project to address an erosion issue. It's not so much wave attenuation, but we have runoff in that. It was a man-made shoreline, and our effort is to try to retain a natural shoreline there. And so we're going to put in limestone, which works really well as a native and natural shoreline stabilization, and then backfill that and hopefully get some mangroves reestablished there.
Thank you.
There's also a fair amount of seagrass there right now, so we definitely don't want to impact that.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else? Thank you, gentlemen. And if we could let the record reflect that we have been joined by Village of Indiantown Councilmember Hernandez and County Commissioner Doug Smith. So we're moving right along to City of Stuart, City Utilities and Engineering Projects. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Peter Cunin. I'm the Director of Engineering and Utilities for the City of Stuart. It's great to be here with all of you this morning. All right, so I have a few projects to go over with you. Starting off with the annual pavement maintenance work that we do within the city. We're currently working within our Zone 1, which are in the areas of Wright Boulevard, Fork Road, and Southwest Ocean Boulevard, doing milling and pavement overlay. The work is about 95% completed. The last portion of work that remains is the pavement markings. The weather's been kind of hindering that, but we're looking at the completion of the work by the end of this month. On to our stormwater projects. We have a couple stormwater projects that are currently in design. The first one is the Southwest Dyer Drive Drainage Improvement Project. And the project is, the purpose is to alleviate flooding that is occurring on Southwest Dyer Drive. And it's a stormwater project involving the design and construction of drainage structures, exfiltration trenches, and it's going to, this is going to connect to an existing stormwater system located on Southwest Palm City Road. It's anticipated that the start of construction will be the fall of this year. That said, we're looking at construction to take place fall and into the winter of 2025. The second stormwater improvement project is on Southeast Lanita Street. It's a drainage improvement project that is also currently in design. It's involves the installation of drainage piping, exfiltration trench, and drainage structures that will connect to an existing drainage system that discharges into the Poppleton Creek. That said, the project is anticipated to start construction the fall of this year as well, and lead into construction wrapping up the winter of 2025. With respect to our utility projects, we have a water main project that is currently in construction or just about ready to start construction. It's located on Southwest Flagler Avenue, and it's the construction of a 12-inch water main that the purpose is to increase the fire flow capacity on Flagler Avenue. And as I mentioned, the project is just starting the construction. The contractor has set up mobilizing equipment. They were supposed to start the actual physical construction yesterday, but the weather had something else in store for them, so that didn't happen. But construction is anticipated to begin this week, or the end of the week. And likely the project will be substantially completed in July, weather permitting. It should go fairly quickly. Contract time for the contractor extends into August, but we believe that they will be finished ahead of that time. With respect to the city's facilities project, we have a project that we received bids yesterday. It was for the construction or upgrades to our existing headwork structure at our water reclamation facility. And the project includes upgrades to the existing headwork structure, replacement of the metal roof portion of the top of the structure itself. There'll be upgrades with respect to odor control and electrical upgrades as well. Right now, that we're looking at the award of the contract to take place during July, and anticipated construction beginning in the fall and extending into the winter of 2025. And with respect to our water, our reverse osmosis water treatment plant, the facility is substantially complete. Components of the project involve the construction of a concentrate pipeline, which is 100% complete. Also, a deep injection well modification that is substantially complete as well. Currently, the facility is producing water about 4 hours per day. We're allowed to produce water with the DEP's, with what we have in place with DEP. We're looking for the final clearance by DEP to take place either the end of this month or the beginning of July. As you probably are aware, it's a tremendous project for the city of Stuart. And we're very excited about the overall project, and the water production now will be through the Floridan aquifer and through reverse osmosis. And with that, I'm open for any questions that any of you may have for me at this time.
Board Member Powers?
I'm just curious, is there any update on Palm City Road planning?
It's still in, well, we met with, we had a meeting with FDOT about a month and a half ago. And the plans were, not design plans, but conceptual plans were submitted to DOT for review. And we're waiting to get comments back from FDOT. We met with them out on site, and we're going over some particular features of the design they had some questions about. We're waiting to get back from them probably a list of questions that need to be addressed. But that's where we're at right now.
Thank you.
Okay.
Commissioner Smith?
Thank you, Madam Chair. More of a comment than a question. Even though Wright Boulevard was a mess for a day and a half or two, they did a fantastic job. The contractor and the final result of the asphalt repaving was really, really super nice. I mean, I think you squeezed it in between the weather windows.
We did.
But they did a really great job.
Well, thank you very much. I'll make sure I'll relay that compliment to the contractor. Yes, they did a wonderful job for us. Thank you very much.
Any others? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone.
We're moving now on to, once again at a lightning speed here, the Village of Indiantown Capital Projects Update. Mr. Patrick Nolan. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Patrick Nolan, Village of Indiantown, Public Works and Utilities. On the Public Works side, we've got some drainage projects that we're working on. The first one is the Uptown Roadway Drainage Repair Project. That is in design. Our second project is the Seminole Drive and Magnolia Generator Project. That is also a drainage project that we're working on, but we actually did receive bids and we have selected a contractor. So we're moving forward. And we have the Southwest Lincoln Street Roadway and Drainage Project. That is in, we're working on design. We're talking to the FDOT. That's a FDOT granted project, so we're trying to get our ducks in a row with them to proceed with the project. On the water side, we've got the, we've been talking about a reverse osmosis water plant project in the hopefully near future. We're looking for funding. Railroad Avenue Water Main Project, that is a 100-year-old cast iron main that goes through the center of the village that we would like to replace. Again, we are looking for funding. 12-inch water main looping project. That is a project that did go out to bid. We are following up with our due diligence with a short list of contractors, and hopefully we'll be able to award that project soon. 151st and Osceola Street, more of the same. That one we do have funding. We have to work through the process with Congressman Mast's office to secure the funding, and then hopefully we'll be moving forward on that project. Special projects. We have it as land clearing. What it is the beginning of a wastewater treatment plant. We have funding in place to build a new wastewater plant, and we have started with, the simple processes, we'll call it. We have cleared the land, but unfortunately with the burning ban, we couldn't finish that project, but we're going to be starting demolition any day. And with the rain, I was actually happy to see the rain because of that project, but we spent all day, like the rest of the municipalities, working with our stormwater, but we did survive it. And then our automatic meter reading infrastructure project. That project, we had planned on replacing all of the meters in the village. We were fortunate enough to get a grant award through some of the wastewater money that we secured through the governor's office. And we also got lucky. Another project fell apart in another part of the state, so a 6-month project turned into a 2-month project. We were able to replace all of the water meters in the village inside of 2 months. Any questions?
Do we have any questions? Thank you, Mr. Nolan. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
We're moving on to the county village development update.
Good morning, Samantha Lovelady with Martin County Growth Management. I'll be showing you the growth report that goes from January 1st through May. And here are the updated population projections with a 2023 estimate. It looks like they're projecting by 2050 will be up to 187,800. So far this year, the county has approved 294 residential units,
We will have grown at the same rate we've grown at the last 100 years.
514,327 square feet of non-residential. In review, we have about 16 projects for residential and 30 projects for non-residential in review. And at this time, the city of Stuart has not had any approvals so far this year. And I'll be happy to take any questions.
That moved right through there.
I thought the city had tons of them.
Going.
See none. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everybody. Dina Freeman with the Village of Indiantown, Community and Economic Development Director. Happy to see everybody. We have an update on what's been happening in Indiantown since we last met. Brief presentation. This is just some images that my colleague Lucia Mendoza, that's in the audience, took with a biomedical facility that's completed. A really exciting project is East Coast Metal on the Venture Park Plan Unit Development. That's under construction at a rapid pace. Bringing in substantial amount of jobs and quite an intensive increase of demand in residential units as well. And also, obviously, a few of you are aware, but Terra-Lago, the Indiantown DRI, Terra-Lago master final site plan phases 1A and B have been approved, and there was a groundbreaking ceremony, and they're already clearing quite a substantial rate for the first 2 phases, and that's a project that's over 800 units that are going to be built. So this is a summary of what's in review currently with the Development Department. We have primarily they're mainly industrial sites. We do have Storaway is almost at final site plan approval, a minor site plan. We have the Cedron, which is on the Indian Town portion of the Indian Town water wastewater treatment plant. We have a project for DeMarcellus, which is an additional 19,500 square feet of manufacturing that's in close to, actually waiting for resubmission, but close to approval. 2830 Holdings is a performance boat company that is, again, very close. They've just resubmitted and a few minor issues to address. Dollar Tree is in for a second round of review and a variance application for a replacement of an existing Dollar Tree within Indian Town. We have Seminole Crossing, which is a site plan that's actually been approved and the development order signed since this presentation was prepared. And we've basically got a number of other projects that have been approved, primarily the Terra-Lago, which is the 2,400 units and mixed-use, assisted living, commercial. We've got Phase 1A and Phase 1B that are under construction. We've got the Parkview Villas, which has been approved for a little while right now. We're waiting for that to get to building permit and construction stage. The Village Market in Delhi, that's a gas station that's been approved for a few months now. That was last year. We're waiting for that to hit the construction phase. TA Estates, another one approved. The East Coast Metals, Kendall, RCC are all like venture park related industrial activities that have been approved. And we also have a minor modification for the River Oaks site plan that reduced the number of units and is currently preparing for plat application. We have the numbers on the residential, which include all of the phases for Terra-Lago and all of the projects that have been approved, or ones that are in review. So we have the total number of residential units approved at 3,516. In review is 24, and the total number of residential units is 5,444. Now, a caveat on that, obviously that does include all of the master site plan approval for the Terra-Lago project. And the non-residential, we have had quite a significant amount of applications in for industrial, commercial, and the numbers reflect that with non-residential approved 214,550, and non-residential in review 186,000, to a total of 403,770, with some of the projects have overlapped since this was prepared, and they're being prepared for development orders right now. And we've had also some comprehensive plan amendments that have been approved, have gone through the whole process. The Village of Indian Town had light industrial land use to utility on a village-owned and operated site. And we also had the Walsh property, which is in conjunction with the Indian Town Marina. That was a 116.16 acre annexation, a large-scale comprehensive plan amendment, and a rezoning. And that's the end of staff presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Ms. Freeman, to make a correction, the Walsh property, Indian Town Marine Center.
Sorry.
Yeah, not Marina.
Yes.
Yes.
Mayor, thank you.
morning.
Ms. Freeman, I know that we can probably look this up, but maybe another time, if we could get like a overview that shows the outline of the boundary of the Village of Indian Town, and just maybe a general on your acreages on residential and the types, like multifamily, single family, and then commercial and industrial, it's a new village, and I just to get a bird's eye view of that. And then my other question is to confirm if the high school, I think I'd asked this before, the high school on Citrus Boulevard, that is not in the village?
Correct, yes.
That's not in the village, it's in the county?
Correct.
Yes, okay, thank you.
And information is noted. We'll provide that at the next meeting.
Yeah, but in the meantime, if you want to, Commissioner, you can
Just
go
look
on
in your
our
website, yeah.
Go into planning and development. We have an interactive map with the layers,
Good.
and you can get a good bird's eye view, I think, from that.
You can click on the layer for municipal boundary, and also we're doing some work and improvements on our GIS as well. So there's going to be even more information on the website as we move forward, but you're happy to reach out as well.
And
to us at the Indian Town Village as well.
I know that Indian Town is a small village, but I don't know if the analysis has been done, but it seems like you're pretty fast growing for the...
Yes, we're small but mighty.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking, yeah.
And we're actually doing some additional analysis on population. I was going to mention that, but we've received some grant funding from US DOT, Main Street America, Thriving Communities, a sub-award for almost $90,000 to help with preparing grants for funding and also for data analysis, GIS improvements, and this phone data analysis that will help with our population in terms of real numbers of people that are there, how they're moving in and out, eating, shopping, or working and moving out of the area for work or coming in. So we're getting that information underway in the next few months, and that's going to really help in supporting our population as existing and projected.
Thank you. And even though we again can go to the website, if you could share with this group at another time the Main Street, where your Main Street is and what projects you've done with the Main Street, just to let us know what's going on in Indiantown.
We can
There's a
provide
lot.
some maps and information. Yeah.
We'll do that next time. Happy to.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And just to make a quick comment about that, yeah, there is a lot of going on in Indiantown, because I think that that's the reason that the people incorporated, is because that is what they've wanted. And we are kind of playing catch-up for 30 or 40 years of nothing happening out there. So we're moving a little faster than everybody else, but that's what the people in Indiantown are wanting. So we're listening and trying to do it smart. I mean, we are bringing a lot of jobs online, which will be a great thing for all of Martin County, as well as the one project that predated the village incorporation out there with Terralago. So we are moving forward, absolutely.
Thank you. May I ask another question?
Sure.
Okay, so I just was going to ask, what is the status with the use of MARTI and other transportation, like van transportation between Indiantown and, let's say, eastern Martin County, City of Stewart, and other places east where people come to do their bigger shopping? I'm not sure. I used to be a member of the LCB, and I know that they were working on improving services between the East Coast, and I'm not sure what the MARTI use and routes are like to have more mass transit between Indiantown and the East Coast.
Yeah, I think it might be useful, actually, to have Beth Beltran from the MPO. I sit on one of those subcommittees, and the village, did increase their budget, along with the City of Stewart, to add additional funding to the MARTI program to help beef up the ridership, if you will. So I don't know what those numbers are, but we can certainly reach out to Beth and get those, because I think the City of Stewart also would be interested to see how that additional funding has beefed up their ridership.
Thank you.
And also, to speak to that, we also have weekend, because we added Sunday. We had Saturday, now we have Sunday on the rider and the van and the transportation, so, yeah.
That specifically goes to like Walmart. So it goes from Indiantown to Walmart. So it has a schedule. So that specifically is helping our families that do their shopping out of Indiantown come to the east.
And I was just looking, and I don't know what Beth is doing, but if people in Stewart or the rest of Martin County want to work out in Indiantown when some of these economic opportunities occur, the potential to use the bus system to get out there to work.
Yes, ma'am.
Good point.
Yep, absolutely.
Madam Mayor.
Okay. Yes, ma'am, I'm sorry.
So I'm really happy that Commissioner Clark brought up Indiantown High School. And first of all, I want to thank the county again for your donation of the property. It's really been extremely impactful for the community of Indiantown. But I also wanted to mention that many of the industrial businesses that are coming to Indiantown are collaborating with Indian River State College so that the students that are graduating from those career technical education programs are immediately employable at the businesses that are actually located in the community. So it's really a life changer for the students in Indiantown and the entire community. So I thank you all for your tremendous support during the process. So thank you.
And to speak to that fact, the Indiantown Marine Center donated property to the Indiantown High School for that exact purpose, to create a course of study that will impact those jobs.
Yes, they will be specifically working with the Marine Industries Association to develop a curriculum that will be based around marine jobs, not just in Indiantown, but in the entire region, so that those students are prepared. And I think the dream eventually is that it will be its own almost working marina, so that students are getting that experience hands-on during their high school career, and then when they go to work, they are immediately employable. It's very, very exciting and really kind of groundbreaking, and there's nothing like it in the state of Florida.
And if I heard correctly, it's not only high school. I think that marine education opportunity is going to be even beyond your high school years.
Yes.
Fantastic, thank you. Any other comments, any questions? Okay.
Thank you.
So we are moving on to item E, school district update. Superintendent May.
Good morning. Good morning. Tracy Miller, Deputy Superintendent. On behalf of Superintendent Main and the board, Mark Seacrest, Director of Facilities, and I are pleased to be with you this morning. And we would like to really thank each of you for your continued partnership. Meetings like this really help to cement relationships, and that planning, that information sharing is really evident when we have examples like yesterday when we all come together. We were able to successfully move students from Hope Sound to other locations after the tornado, and that collaborative spirit, that teamwork that happened, we're really grateful for it all the time, but particularly it was very evident yesterday. So we appreciate your help and support and everyone's teamwork getting our kids, ensuring that they were safe. So we're here this morning to share a little update about controlled open enrollment, and you will recall from the last meeting that controlled open enrollment is the vehicle that allows parents of students from anywhere in the state to apply to enroll in one of our Martin County schools, as long as the students are in good standing in their current school, and as long as we have space available in our Martin County schools. We did open controlled open enrollment, the process, on March 1st. And it remains open throughout the year with a wait list. So we are able to take a look at the space on a continual basis in our schools, and also the applications to ensure that students are available to have seats in our classrooms if they desire them and if they're available. So kindergarten enrollment is currently underway. So when you see our enrollments, if you will please remind any friends, neighbors, and anyone that you know that might have a student eligible for kindergarten in August, that we are anxiously awaiting their arrival in our Martin County School District schools. And kindergarten enrollment is open at all schools at this time. So since the start of controlled open enrollment, and as of May 14th, we had over 1,100 choice applications. So that's 1,100 families requesting to send their students to one of our Martin County schools. Over 990 approval letters were sent to families who have requested choice. And at the time of May 14th, over 650 students had been successfully enrolled in our school. We have 110 students on the wait list, and actually yesterday we sent letters to approximately 30 more families that their students did receive a seat available at the school of their choice. The chart that you see here is for our elementary schools, and it lists the current enrollment. This was as of March 24th. And you can think about school enrollment as very fluid. As any date and time, students can move from one school to another. Just as people move in and out of our community, the same thing happens in our schools. So enrollment is a very fluid number. And you can see at the bottom the 2024-25 number of students enrolled for August. for elementary is right around 7,000 students. It's approximately 145 less than it was last school year. But remember, the kindergarten enrollment is open now, and we are expecting many more kindergarten students to enroll in our elementary schools. All the way at the end, we do have some limited availability for controlled open enrollment at several of our schools, and the particular grade levels that had seats available as of the May date are listed there. In middle school, you'll see they are all in green, and that is to alert everyone that we do have controlled open enrollment seats available in all grades in all of our middle schools at this time. And we have about 3,600 students currently enrolled in grades 6, 7, and 8 for next school year. And at the bottom of the slide is for high school. You can see right now all of the schools are currently over capacity, but we do, as students do move in and out and there's flexibility, there will still be seats opening mostly at Martin County High School and South Fork High School. Enrollment is up significantly at all of the schools. You can see the enrollment right now is up over 100 students over last year in our high schools. So that is the update for enrollment as of May. Before we move on to an update for construction, we'll happily take any questions and from the floor. Thank you.
Commissioner Hurd?
Yeah, how many students are enrolled in Indiantown High School?
I don't have the numbers for Indiantown High School. Does any member of the board happen to have their enrollment?
So this past year, we had about 54. And currently, well, the last update that I received was 79. And they are still accepting more, and they were going through the application process right now.
Why didn't you include Indiantown in your school summaries?
So those Indiantown High School is one of our charter schools. We have several charters in the district, and while the district holds the charter, they are not a school operated by the Martin County School District.
Understood, thanks.
Thank you. Board Member Roberts?
Thank you. I just wanted to clarify that when Dr. Miller was saying that we had 1,130 choice applications and 990 approval letters and 650 fully enrolled at the new school, I just wanted to clarify that choice also includes the ability for Martin County parents to move to a different school. So you may live in Hobe Sound and be zoned for South Fork, but by using the choice method, you could ask for an assignment or pick up a seat and a lanyard to get in at, say, Jensen Beach High School. The advantage is by using controlled open enrollment, you get to stay there the entire, until you finish the highest grade level there. So when you're looking at 650 fully enrolled in the school, it doesn't mean we have 650 that came from out of state to our county. A good portion of those are people that have moved around. Thank you.
Good clarification, thank you. Commissioner Smith?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Tracy, good morning. Good morning. So the other day I went by Stewart Middle School, and one day there was a building, and then the next day there wasn't, which was really amazing. I'm like, oh my God, what happened? What are the plans for the old portion that's being torn down? I assume there's some kind of capacity going to be added. And then as a second part, to that question, with the high school numbers, is there a long-range plan, strategy for expansion capacity for Jensen and or either one of the others, the high schools? That's it.
So with Stewart Middle School, currently, there are no additional classroom spaces being added. With the building that you saw coming down, that was the original building number 1 that had the media and admin. Well, if you look just north of there, before you get to the 2-story classroom building, we built a new building number 1, which has now all the new admin offices and media center. There is a concept for new classroom buildings, but it's further down the road. But that building had to come down. It's going to become a green space in front of the school. So it's going to beautify that whole front and kind of
Just a holding place for future capacity.
For future growth.
And when needed.
Because eventually, if we go to another brand-new 2-story classroom building, it will go basically in that spot down the road.
Awesome. And then the high schools?
In terms of high schools, we do have seats available for Martin County students, so the capacity, we're filling up seats now with students. If we increase the numbers, those numbers, some of them are coming from out of the district. So we're making sure that all of the spaces we have available are filled so that we can maximize the use of our facilities that we do have. So at this time, if you're asking if there's an additional high school on the plan or in the near future, there's
Or just expansion capacity for Jensen or any of the others?
At this time, no, until the numbers show that we need it for our Martin County residents.
Okay, cool.
We wouldn't bring that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Clark?
Oh, oh,
That's you.
That's you.
okay, I thought Commissioner DeJarliza. Thank you. Can I just go back to Indiantown High School for a minute? You mentioned about the charter operation of the school. Can you just explain to us the school board building the school and then whatever you said about charter, if you can explain that, and then tell us other schools that are in a similar situation in terms of the management and reporting, whatever you said that you didn't report because of whatever reason, and then maybe tell us something about Spectrum School in the city of Stewart.
Sure. So there are traditional public schools in the state of Florida and also charter schools, which are public schools in the state of Florida. Charter schools are run by a charter organization or they hold a charter with the school district in the area in which they are housed. So in Martin County, an example is Indiantown High School. It's the newest charter school we have. There is Clark Advanced Learning Center on the site of Indian River State College. That is a charter school, a charter high school. We also have
Classical?
thank you, Treasure Coast Classical Academy, and that is a charter school in Stewart. And then we have the Hope Center for Autism, and they actually have a primary unit and then an older student school. So those are the charters that we have in the Martin County area that are not run by the Martin County School Board. As such, we did not include their information. We receive information from them as their enrollment continues or as they provide reports to the board, which they do on a fairly frequent basis to keep the board updated as to their status, their enrollment, and other information as required under statute.
But you maintain their buildings?
We do.
No, just their board takes care of everything?
Correct. The actual charter school and their board is responsible for the daily operation, the facilities, and all of those. They may coordinate and collaborate with us for some services, but those schools are run by the charter.
And
Spectrum?
just to clarify too, you mentioned that the Martin County School District built the school. They did not build the school.
That's what I
Indian
wanted
River
to be
State
sure of.
College built the school, and a donor donated the dollars for the construction of that school. It was, Martin County School District did not contribute to the construction of the school at all.
Thank you. And Spectrum is a junior-senior high school located in Stewart, and it is one of our alternative schools, so students can choose to attend that school, or they can be placed at that school for additional support and resources. So we typically have high school students there. We have some middle school as well. Willoughby is our other alternative school that we have here in Martin County. And so those are schools that are smaller size and have additional supports and services for students who may be needing or wanting to receive those services. And enrollment does fluctuate throughout the year. Students may attend for a full year at a school such as Spectrum, or they may be there for a period of time and then go back to their home zone school or their school of choice.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mrs. Powers, did you have further clarification for that?
Not on that. Not on that. Well, I do have a comment about the enrollment at our high schools. To Commissioner Smith's point, while we have 5,636 students registered, we do not have that number of kids on our campus at one time during the day. We have a large percentage of our high school students that participate in dual enrollment, or they maybe take an online course, so they're not on our campus during those times. So as a school district, we're really trying to maximize the use of our facilities. So when we have empty classrooms or we're moving things around, to be able to enroll more students at our school than what it looks like is the capacity, when they're not really on our campuses during that time. So that's just why the numbers, we're able to add more at our high schools than we typically would at an elementary or middle, because they're on campus. Those schools are on campus all day.
And can I just say one more thing? I enjoyed the students talking about the alternative academies and programs. And I know it's the end of the year, and I wish that we had had some, highlights of some great things that have happened. I know that you've probably received awards, or some students have had national merit and all these kind of things, but I would have loved to have a little snippet of some of the big highlights of, and then maybe next time bring us some of the students in some of these academies, especially this environmental thing and what's going on in Indian Town, whatever work is going on in that area, people working in the industry for practical applications of their education. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm glad you bring that up. Each of our high schools and our middle schools as well have career-focused academies in their buildings that are tailored to the needs and interests of the students at their schools. So for example, we have a culinary academy at Martin County High School. We have the turf management and agriculture academy at South Fork. We have, and that's something that we're expanding and revitalizing, the golf course. We're one of the few schools that actually has a golf course. We'll have a very nicely maintained and functioning golf course in the near future at South Fork. Jensen Beach High School as well has many programs that students can choose to choice into. And so not only will students graduate from our high schools with their traditional four-year high school diploma, but they can also graduate with industry certification, such as a CNA for nursing. And so they have the credentials and the certifications needed to go right into a career right out of high school from any of the high schools here in our school district. And we have supportive programs in our middle schools so that students can kind of receive a little bit of a taste of what it's like to be part of those academies, and whether or not they might have an interest in joining them. And then when they go to high school, through the controlled open enrollment process or the choice process, they can choose to attend any of those 3 high schools that are run by the district when there are seats available, and they can go into those what we call signature programs, so they can really spend 2, 3, 4 years getting a really solid foundation and an industry certification in an area of choice for a career or profession that they're interested in. And on top of that, they can also earn additional diplomas from either Cambridge University, the International Baccalaureate Program, or the Advanced Placement, the AP program, receive an additional diploma. And if that wasn't enough, they can also earn their 2-year degree while attending our high school through the collaborative agreement that we have with Indian River State College, and students can graduate from high school already having received their associate's degree from the state college.
Thank you, Ms. Dr. Miller.
You're welcome.
Councilmember Hernandez?
Yes, I wanted to ask in regards of, in Indiantown, we saw in the development report that there was approved 3,444 homes. What has the school district planned in regards of the elementary and middle school, which is more of a concern than the high school, just because we will be seeing an increase of students arriving into Indiantown? And so has there been any talk in regards of this? Thank you.
So I'll address part of your comment. So at Warfield, there is a future capital project. It's similar to Stewart Middle. We're going to do the admin media center, but it also includes classroom additions. So we're going to have to look, that's going to happen probably within the 24, 25 year when we start planning and doing documents. So we're going to have to look at the enrollments then and kind of do some guesstimation on how many classrooms we want to add at Warfield. But at the same time, at IMS, Indiantown Middle School, we removed the 5th grade to Warfield, so now there's capacity at the middle school for more students. So that's kind of where we are currently in planning.
Thank you.
Mr. Duterese?
Thank you. I want to go back to the controlled open enrollment, Doug.
when we set the numbers for controlled open enrollment on those schools, we set our, separate from our actual capacity, we set our controlled open enrollment capacity at 75% of the actual capacity. That way, for Martin County growth, we have that number somewhere around 25% that it leaves room for Martin County, future Martin County students. And then we can adjust that number as time goes by, but the students have to age out of that school. So whoever comes in open enrollment can stay in that school till the highest year. But we certainly keep at least 25% in there as a buffer so that there's always room for Martin County students. Thanks.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Powers, did you have something else?
Yes, thank you. So I just wanted to mention, I know we talked about kindergarten enrollment, but voluntary pre-kindergarten enrollment is going on right now as well for both the public schools, but also for our private providers. We could not offer free voluntary VPK in the state of Florida without the private providers in our community that are offering those programs. So it is free 3 hours of voluntary VPK to families in the state of Florida. So I encourage everyone to please register your child. It truly does prepare them. I know in the kindergarten teachers are overjoyed when they have students enrolled that have attended the high-quality VPK programs that we have here in Martin County. I also want to mention South Fork High School, the golf course program. That is really being made available, commitment by the school district and the school board, but also the community partnership with one of the local developers that's building the golf course. So it's really going to be a feeder system for the new golf course communities that are coming and really preparing our students to be career ready in that industry, because it truly is a huge industry, from the front of the house to the back of the house to golf course maintenance to so many opportunities. I was talking to one of the current golf courses. They're expanding an existing golf course, and I think their second highest paid person that works for them is their golf course maintenance, oversees all their golf course maintenance. And it is really a great career opportunity for our students in Martin County. And then I also wanted to mention 5th grade at Warfield. This was a priority of mine since I got on the board, and we finally got it back at Warfield Elementary, where it belongs, where every other 5th grade in Martin County is, and in the state of Florida. It is at the elementary school where it belongs. Indiantown Middle School, I know we, as a board, have had some preliminary conversations about the development that is happening and a possible conversion of Indiantown Middle School to a K-8, because we have so much capacity at Indiantown Middle School. So we'll continue those conversations as the development happens, but we have the space. We just have to make that, if we decide to go that route as a board. So, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Hurd.
Yeah, I think that there's significant confusion about funding for charter schools. I think that people don't understand what taxpayer funds are eligible, the schools are eligible for. So can somebody provide some illumination for charter schools do obtain taxpayer funding? Is it just for operations? Is it for capital? Can anybody illuminate what these, what taxpayer funds are used for charter schools?
Do you want to address that, or, I mean, maybe the superintendent? I mean, in Florida, the money, the full-time equivalent that each student in the state of Florida gets follows the student, whether they go to a traditional public school, a public charter school, or a private school. So that is now the Family Empowerment Scholarship. So parents get to choose, or they can be homeschooled. And those dollars follow the student now, as opposed to...
Operational or capital or both?
So that's for that's the student piece. And then capital, they do get a percentage of the capital dollars that are allocated to the county based on their enrollment.
Okay.
So that goes only to charter schools, not to private schools.
Okay. Thank you.
Because charter schools are public schools. Oh, and they do also get a share of the millage dollars that are collected here locally for our local initiative. Charter schools only.
So, and a follow-on question. So considering that in Martin County, we see charter schools growth blooming, are you seeing a reduction in the dollars that are available to you for your public schools because it's being displaced?
No. So when the dollar follows the student, right, the operational dollars are following the student. If we don't, so students are somewhat in a state of flux. They might be at a charter school for elementary years. They may then go to homeschool for middle school years, and then they may come to a traditional public school in high school years. So, but what happens is the dollars that come with that student, so think of the student as carrying a lunchbox with the dollars to pay for their teacher, their electric bill, their books, and those type of things. Each child in the state of Florida has a lunchbox with that money in it. So that money kind of goes back and forth as to wherever the child is going to show up and they bring their money. In Martin County, we're like, I'd say right around 10% of the students that are going to a public school, meaning the traditional public schools that we manage or a charter school, 10% of them are going to charter schools. And we don't see, so like if you look at our enrollment hasn't significantly changed because of that increase in charter schools. They seem to have come from other places or children that were homeschooled, or if they went from our school, we picked up other students that came back. So I think that what happened over the last couple of years with COVID was that when parents and students discovered that they were able to do things virtually or remotely or have other opportunities, and then they found that they could get the lunchbox of money to take with them to do that, it became a new educational model where students didn't come back. In Martin County, we didn't have that significant a number of students that didn't come back, but it went down by, I'd say, 300 students. We normally fluctuate about 100 a year, so you figure that there were probably an additional 200 students that went somewhere else or did something. But we're building those numbers back up because our schools are built to operate at a capacity that is a stated capacity, and it isn't efficient to run them without that number of students, which is why the board decided this year at controlled open enrollment, we would open all of our schools, try to boost those numbers, so not only for the students that were coming from out of county, but for students that were in county that wanted some, let's call it closure or security, to know that if they went to Hidden Oaks Middle School, they would be there the entire time, and they wouldn't be, there for 1 year and have to renew after that year. Thank you.
Superintendent Maine.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. I just wanted to also, to the question about the expansion of Indiantown, the possibility of Indiantown Middle School having capacity to go to a K-8 school is very real, in addition to Warfield Elementary. So we are monitoring those numbers, and we're on top of it. We are really excited about the growth and expansion that's happening out there, and we will be prepared to accept those students with open arms. I also wanted to piggyback off of what Mrs. Powers had stated about moving 5th grade from Indiantown Middle School to Warfield. We just received our latest test results back from Warfield Elementary for 5th grade, and those 5th graders all received in every area, ELA, math, and science, double-digit increases over where they were performing at Indiantown Middle School. So the decision to move that cohort of students was very impactful. To her point, it's exactly what needed to happen, and I think we'll also see, once our numbers are finalized for Indiantown Middle School, that the data will increase there as well, because those 5th graders did not need to be at a traditional middle school. Indiantown Middle School needed to be 6th through 8th grade. So I just wanted to add that piece as well. I also wanted to just let everybody know that as soon as we get all of our, we will be very excited to share all of our final data with this group, and so the best time to do that will be our next meeting when we received all of the data back from the state over typically in July, and when school grades are reported from the DOE, so that we can highlight all of our accomplishments. We just don't have all of that data back yet, and things are still in flux at the DOE based on school grade calculations. So as soon as we're able to give you very definitive data, it would give us just the pleasure to be able to share that with this group. So thank you.
Just to comment on that, I know that we have had the opportunity to speak before about ongoing and future and what the needs are going to be. And if you look at what was presented earlier, that Warfield Elementary has the largest enrollment of all of the elementary schools in the county. And then you look at the middle school enrollment, and Indiantown has the smallest. And I'm thinking, okay, well, why the disconnect? And it's because Indiantown Middle only gets from one elementary. It's not a feeder. So when the other schools, you look at those, there's more than one school feeding into those middle schools. So it gives the flexibility and the opportunity to utilize both of those facilities and create something unique that I think will be an absolutely awesome addition to that community. So thank you so much for thinking outside the box. And so, Commissioner Smith.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I think just a little add-on to Commissioner Hurd's question about where the money goes and how it follows. Wasn't it last year, not this current session, the session before, they modified and expanded how those dollars move, and it was like $9,500 or something that went with each child to wherever they were going to take it. Before, it was somewhat limited as to which type of school it could go to, but the legislature, I think, opened it up to any kind of school, whether it was religious-based, whether it was charter-based, or homeschool, or whichever, right?
So the Family Empowerment Scholarship expanded to homeschool and private school. So parents now can choose to take, I think it's $8,500 approximately, that follows the student. So now those homeschool students will get those dollars as well for books and curriculum and all the things that they're doing to educate our students.
And then it's also my understanding that some of the private schools, whether they wanted to or chose not to take those funds because of any ties that came through it with the state, or is it like a mandatory thing that they have to take those funds?
It is not mandatory that they take the scholarship. It's really up to the
School itself.
school. Yeah, yeah.
I wouldn't say it's up to so the school will take the money, whatever money they have. Those are green dollars that come to them. The parent applies for the money, is what happens. So a parent decides, when the parent announces this is where my child's going, the parent can get the money. And also the other thing that should be cleared up is that when the parent gets that money, there's specifications on how they can spend that money. They can't take the money and go to Disney World, for example. It has to be used for curriculum. It has to be used for instruction. So there's some guardrails that are put in to be sure that it's being used for education.
Thank you.
Commissioner Rich.
Thank you. Commissioner Hurd's comment prompted a question in my mind. Dr. Miller, is it? Could you go back to your total elementary school enrollment number, please? It's 70, what are we going, I can't read it. It's 7,000, let's call it?
Yes.
And then go to the middle school number. 36, a drop of, we have 3,400 children that went somewhere between elementary and middle school. Where did those children go?
In the elementary grades, we have grades K through 5, and in middle school, we have 6, 7, and 8. So there are only 3 grade levels in the middle schools, and there are 4 grade levels in the high school, while there are 6 at the elementary school. So each elementary school has a greater number of grade levels with students attending. So that's why there's more students in the elementary than in the middle.
Okay.
Commissioner Clark.
It's not due to children going to homeschooling or the...
We're not seeing large numbers of students. Now, that trend could change at any time, but we're not seeing large numbers of students leaving elementary. If we do see students leave to go to another kind of environment, after 5th grade is one of those times that parents sometimes will try something different for the middle grades, and then you'll see them come back into the traditional high school. So there is some time when 5th grade seems to be an opportunity for parents to take that time to sample what else is available, and so that certainly is a possibility.
Thank you.
So what you end up seeing is, it's a roll-up, so which is why it's kind of a movable feast, is that every grade rolls up. So you see the 5th grade rolling up into 6th grade, and you see that happening. When you look at the chart, the one that was before that, there's some other intricacies which are kind of like really getting into the weeds. So when you see that there's limited availability in kindergarten, for example, some of that has to do with if you're in a 2-story school, lower grades are not allowed to be upstairs. So you have to structure your classroom so that lower grades are always downstairs and the upper grades are upstairs. So there's those kind of pieces. So even though you see that, oh, there's availability at Jensen Beach Elementary for students, but it's the limited availability is in 1st and 2nd grade because you can't have those kids going upstairs. So.
Thanks.
Commissioner Clark.
Oh, going back to Frank Brogan and whatever, I used to be a planner, and I used to participate in the concurrency management and school board planning. I don't know exactly what you do now, but going back to what Commissioner Hurd had asked and listening to Commissioner Roberts and Powers, I'm just trying to figure out, when the school board approves like classical and some other places, or works with the state legislature and does whatever, when is it that that limit comes in where we're balancing and we're not providing all these charter schools that to me are taking that lunchbox and competing with the public school, and are we going to be lessening the public schools and having more charter schools? And I'm trying to think of the planning. Even Commissioner Hernandez asked about Indiantown, and I know that there's a lot of development in Mid-County, from Stewart South to Hobe Sound, and even beyond. But I'm just thinking how that process works. But it's not anything you don't have to answer, but I'm just thinking about it. Because I wouldn't want us to keep approving small numbers. They're large units like the Indiantown High School or the Classical and other places that take some time to fill up. And then are we not, anyhow, I'm just.
So I would like to comment on that, Commissioner.
Okay.
Clark. So this school board, as most school board members I know, believe that the thing to do is to do what is best for children, to do the educational opportunity that is best for children. So that being said, there's a multitude of ways a child in today's day and age can get their education. So I believe this board, as most other boards I know, firmly believes that if a charter comes and is offering an educational system that makes sense, that is well managed, et cetera, that they are partners with us as far as opening that school. So it gives a parent a choice. So the parent that is not choosing any school is the one that's taking their lunchbox and homeschooling or staying at home, or taking their lunchbox and going to a private school. So that's happening. That's always happened all along. So these lunchboxes of these children going here and there and wherever they go with it is something that is the way of the future. It's allowing, I mean, when I went to school, if there were, which was a long time ago, if there was not a private school anywhere around that my parents could pick, I went to the public school, and the school district told me this is the school I was going to. And if I didn't like the lunch that was there, if I didn't like the playground, if I didn't like the teacher, if I didn't like the books, if I didn't like anything, I had no choice. Well, that is all changed in today's world where you can really choose, and a parent is able to pick what kind of education and how they want their educational experience to be for their child. So that being said, we have, from counties our size and larger, we have less charters percentage-wise than other counties do. So I think that that speaks volumes to the type of education that the Martin County School District is supplying for their traditional programs, because I think the charter the charter operators are looking and seeing that they don't have a window to compete in because it's already being taken care of. It's already being, I think the old school way of thinking was that the money is flying out the window and it's coming away from us and going to somebody else. But in reality, the way we build our budget and the way that makes sense for the operational end is to build it on the number of students we have. We have class size amendments, so we know how many teachers we have. We know what the utility bills are going to be. We know, if we know how many students we have, we know how many books to buy. So it really doesn't impact us the way you would think it does. And I think it was the scare that was, say, maybe 10 or 15 years ago of what does that mean? Somebody's getting up in my business and it's, I'm running a Ford dealership and now there's a Volvo coming in next door. What does that mean to me? And I think that that isn't the way it is.
Thank you.
Commissioner Collins?
Just for clarification with regard to controlled open enrollment, part of that is opening up to outside of the county, correct? And the question would be, if that is correct, do we have a sense of what percentage of our enrollment is out of county?
We will have that
Lunchboxes.
later as we move further on. What happens is, so the month of March is considered one day. So it doesn't matter if you try, whether you're in county or out of county, it doesn't matter during the month of March, which is the beginning of open enrollment, when you sign up and you put your name down and say, I want my child to go to that school. Once that initial bucket is created of all the students that have applications, so let's say it's 1,000, right? Once that initial bucket is created for the month of March, it's then divided into smaller buckets. And the smaller bucket, there's a bucket for Martin County students, or residents. There's a bucket for veterans. There's a bucket for out of county. So there's these various buckets that are created, and the seats are given on a priority basis so that Martin County students come first. So that if you lived in Hobe Sound and you wanted your child to go to Jensen Beach High School, you would be ahead of the line against anybody who was coming from Jensen Beach, say Port St. Lucie, trying to get into Jensen Beach High School. Right. So we have that priority system that's in place, that's stated in our policy, so that we're sure that we're taking care of our Martin County residents first. Now, by virtue of the way the system works, if there were only 100 seats at a school and there were 200 parents that were Martin County residents trying to get the choice ability to go to that school, only 100 of them would be able to get seats. And if there were 500 out-of-county residents, they're not going to go anywhere until the first 100 get seated and the next 100 that are on the wait list get seated.
Perfect. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I just want to say too, by virtue of where the schools are located, is where we see the most out-of-county students coming. Obviously, Jensen Beach is popular for St. Lucie County, and also like Citrus Grove Elementary out in Palm City. Those are, we find the majority of students are coming from St. Lucie, and they live close or near the communities like Jensen and some Palm City. Yeah, or their parents could work there. And one of the other priorities that we also give, even after our Martin County residents, is if a teacher teaches at a school, they get priority to bring their child to the school that they teach at. So we make sure that that's a priority as well.
Superintendent Maine?
I just wanted to be able to provide one more piece of clarification for Commissioner Clark. It used to be that applications for charter schools were submitted to the district to be approved, reviewed, and then submitted to the board. That has recently changed, and all future charter applications will go to the state for review and approval, and then we will receive notification from that commission that the charter has been approved for our area, and then we will bring it to the board for their approval at that point. And just so that the public is aware, charter school grades do count for our district grade. And so it is very important to us as a school district that our charter schools are successful and are performing at a level in which we want those students to receive the very best education, because their success then further increases our success.
It's good information. Thank you. do we have any other?
Mr. Seacrest just has a few updates on the construction projects, and we'll share those very quickly.
So good morning. Mark Seacrest, Director of Facilities and Planning at the Martin County School District. I'm excited to give you an update on some of our capital projects. I just want you to know it doesn't include everything we're doing, but it does include a majority of them. Stewart Middle School now has 2 phases. We're finishing up Phase 1, which is the Admin Media Center. And as people mentioned, Building 1 is coming down. That just started on Monday, and they're probably halfway through the building now. We were able to move staff. Once we got past May 23rd, the last day of school, we were able to move staff into the new building. So they're occupying the new building now. They're very excited. They're preparing their media center. And then you can see the furniture there, but as we go to Phase 2, we're actually building the new cafeteria building. So what this is going to do is going to create a smaller courtyard feeling, and it's a more manageable feeling for staff with the students. So it's actually on the west side of the existing cafeteria building. You can see the outlines just now taking, I can show you this, the outlines just appearing now. We have CMU walls going up. They're up about 12 feet now. So it's progressing pretty rapidly, but it's about a 24-month project. One of our other major projects is the South Fork High School gym and athletic complex renovation. We're at 88% complete right now, but what I can tell you is we were able to move into the gym with all their stuff and volleyballs and nets, and everything was moved in the last 2 weeks. And then their existing gym is being demolished as we speak. It started about 2 weeks ago. So that existing gym is coming down. That will provide a green space probably for a future project of classroom buildings or additional 2-story buildings with classrooms. But that's also in a concept phase. But it will create a space on campus for that type of building. This photograph you see here is actually out of date. They already have the lines painted. The logos are in the floor, so they're kind of 2 weeks beyond this photograph now. Over the summer, I counted, there's 33 projects that we're doing over this summer between June and July that we need to get done before August. And I won't go through all of them, but you can see the major sites we're addressing. They range from large to small projects, and there's probably about 10% where we're actually going to start the planning phase of the project and no construction, but 80 to 85% of these projects are going to happen over the next 2 months. This is just a photograph to show you, as we sit with the board and Mr. Main, we go through a series of projects that are important or major. These are 24 major projects. This doesn't include everything we're doing. I have put on here which ones are half-cent sales tax, and we appreciate the community for that funding source that we've been using over the last 6 years now. It'll end on year 8. So we have capital projects that use local capital, and then we have some projects that use the half-cent sales tax. And that concludes my presentation.
Awesome, thank you. Big things happening, yes. Mrs. Bowers.
So I want to say, it was a little nostalgic for me that South Fork High School's gym is coming down, since I was among the first students that opened South Fork High School, so not dating myself, but that was kind of nostalgic. But I would also like the superintendent to talk a little bit about our media centers and how they're changing in our elementary and middle schools for interactions with students without their cell phones.
Yes, thank you, Mrs. Powers. So one of the things as we redo our media centers, we're moving away really from media center to hubs of innovation. You'll see here with the state-of-the-art furniture that's being ordered, these really will become spaces for students to collaborate, to study. Think of a cafe, if you will, at the collegiate level, where you go in, there are think tank areas, there's areas to really bring in your devices and research and come together with students to talk about problems, solve problems, just get up to speed with the current trends that we're dealing with. Less books, students are accessing books electronically. You go to your college levels now, and all of your textbooks are purchased online, or you are accessing your curriculum remotely, even at our technical schools. And so we really want to create fun and innovative creative spaces for our students as we move into the future, to utilize these spaces in different capacities. Teachers to be able to bring their students into these rooms for classroom lessons, for presentations, and moving away from the traditional model of a typical media center.
Wonderful, thank you. We're at the end of our agenda here. Is there any more burning issues or comments that we've got? Yes, Mrs. Stacy Hetherington.
I have a general public comment or a comment on a project, since we have all the commissioners, particularly the City of Stuart commissioners, because we will be reviewing this project on Monday at the MPO, Transportation Planning. But I wanted to bring to your attention, because there's 2 members of your board on the MPO. So the project is in its preliminary stages. The reason the MPO will review it is because it will get federal TAP grant funds. So it's proposed right now, the engineering plans, to change South Dixie Highway from 2-directional to 1-directional, from Haney Circle to Confusion Corner. That traffic would be rerouted down the one-way California and Akron. So I have some serious safety concerns. So that area falls in District 2 and then slightly into District 1 on the west side. So I just asked the entire commission to take a look at the preliminary plans before we go further down the line, because there are some safety concerns. There's a school that is between Akron and California, which is the First Baptist Church. So there's several hundreds of students that are being dropped off daily. So that's a safety concern when you reroute the whole South Dixie down that area. So, and in addition, Akron is not a 2-way, it is a sort of a yield 1-way. And so you'll be pushing traffic down California and down Akron, which is truly not a 2-way, it's a yield 1-way, and as is Fifth. So I just asked you to take a look at that, because I know it's in the preliminary stages. We will look at it Monday on the MPO, but I think it would be great for your board to have an entire presentation on it.
Commissioner Hetherington, after speaking with Commissioner McDonald yesterday, he had met with Beth Beltran, the MPO director, and I had contacted our CRA director, and we have pulled that from Monday's meeting. We're going to direct it to go through our CRA board and the City Commission board before it comes forward to the MPO, and you were correct in stating that it was going to the MPO because of the grant funding, and she had wanted it to go to the MPO first so that it could qualify for the grant funding contemporaneously with being reviewed. What had happened is Captech Engineering had drafted those plans. They just got completed like literally in the last couple of weeks, and they have not had a chance to go to any of our boards yet, so we're going to go the city boards first before they come your way. A couple of issues, though, is a lot of the driving force behind those plans was safety and traffic flow related to the crossings of Confusion Corner and St. Lucie Circle there, the Sailfish Circle on St. Lucie, because the traffic flow going north on Dixie in the afternoons has the right-of-way to the traffic coming over the railroad tracks. So every afternoon, multiple cars get stuck on the railroad tracks because if the gates start coming down, the cars going north don't stop and the cars get stuck on the tracks. So the discussion is really related to making sure that there's never a circumstance that someone is placed in danger like that, but we will obviously be bringing it to the MPO as well.
Commissioner Smith?
Yeah, just a slight follow-on too. We did have this at the MPO
February 2023.
in February 23, and I don't know that, at least what Stacy has here, that what I'm seeing really kind of addressed any of the conversations that we had. So hopefully there's room for a lot of conversation about it.
Okay. Okay, are we good? Great information. Thank you for bringing that up. Okay, I don't see anything else. So with that, we stand adjourned.